What is going on, guys? Nathan here with a Team Fortress 2 Man vs. Machine gameplay / commentary. Here talking about Wave 666, which is a bit old in itself, but you can still jump on Wave 666 servers and have a good time. It's actually very fun. But here I want to talk about the best demoman loadout for Wave 666. Now, before I do, I'd like to talk about the gameplay a little bit and pretty much apologize because I spent a lot of time looking for legit Wave 666 servers that didn't have lag or were just kind of vanilla, and I just did not have luck with that. So basically, just deal with the gameplay. We were basically cheating with unlimited money, and it was a 10-player server. So unfortunately, no vanilla gameplay to actually show off to you guys. I do technically have some gameplay, but I've already used it, and I really want to avoid using gameplay twice. But anyway, I wanted to talk about best demoman loadout, and this is specifically Wave 666, although I suppose it could be transferred to just regular MvM, although in order for the loadout to work, you really need that high amount of money early on, because if you don't know, in Wave 666 you start out with $5,000 and you eventually just pick up currency over time instead of just having like 400, then pick up like 1,000, then pick up like another 1,000. That big money is really helpful at the start. So what you do is you equip the lock and load, the charge and targe, and your melee of choice, I suppose. I just use the default, the freedom staff, because it looks cool. But so the reason why you're using these weapons, and I'll just kind of break down each weapon. So let's start off with the lock and load, which is the primary weapon in this situation. The lock and load is just a better weapon to use in this situation than the pipe launcher. Now, why is that? Well, basically it does more damage, and the only con that the lock and load has, or its disadvantage against the pipe launcher, is its magazine size. But when you upgrade both weapons' magazine sizes, the difference between both of them is 2. And that's really a small percentage when you're talking about 12 pipes versus 14 pipes. It's really not that big of a difference, but the damage is still a larger difference. So when you upgrade that magazine size, really the lock and load is just better overall, putting out more damage. And yeah, you have 2 less pipes, but it doesn't really matter when you have, 12 pipes versus 14. It's kind of like that. So now we move on to the charge and targe. Now, you might be asking, why would you use the charge and targe versus the sticky launcher or Scottish resistance? And I have tried out the sticky launcher and the Scottish resistance, and I found them to be quite useful. However, I personally like to upgrade one weapon in my set, because usually there's only enough cash to max out one weapon, and if I were to choose a weapon to max out, it would not be the sticky launcher. Instead, it would be the lock and load, just because the lock and load does have more output, or damage output. I found that the sticky launcher / Scottish resistance can be useful because it does have a high guarantee of damage. For example, if you put a bunch of Scottish resistance stickies in the way of a giant demoman, you're gonna get that damage on them instead of missing a pipe or something. However, it just really doesn't do that much damage. Even when the damage is maxed out, I'm better off firing, all 10 or 12 of my lock and load shots and then reloading, versus laying down the stickies, trying to get the trap perfect, and then setting them off at the right time. I'd rather be able to dodge shots, all the while just kind of shooting robots. So the extra blast resistance is nice in that respect. And actually, if you do upgrade your blast resistance to max in the shop, the MvM shop, with the charge and targe, you only take 5 damage for a direct hit from any explosive, crit explosive aside, because it's so much resistance. Like I think the MvM shop is like plus 25% resistance. That maxed out is plus 75% resistance. Plus your charge and targe is plus 40% resistance. So add those together, and it's a whole lot of resistance to explosives. So you can pretty much consider yourself immune to explosives once you max that stuff out. Plus the fire resistance, is pretty decent as well. Not important as the explosive explosive resistance, but still kind of a nice perk. So that's pretty much why I use the charge and charge. Plus the escape charges are actually very useful. I had a couple of times, at least in this gameplay, where well, maybe it wasn't in this gameplay, but I've had many moments where that escape charge saves my life, or if I need to cross, you know, the line of fire to get from my spot to a dispenser, save my life. That is just incredibly useful so that you don't get shot right away, because the MvM bots do have aimbot, so that's always a negative. So now I move on to the melee. You can pretty much use what you want. I would not suggest the katana, I guess. I mean, that's pretty much the limitations of like the melees here. I don't upgrade my melee. I don't ever use my melee in MvM just because it's a stupid decision. I mean, for this class specifically, you could just be shooting pipes and get 10 times, 20 times the amount of damage than if you would actually swing your melee. And yeah, it's good for no ammo, but at the same time, there are ammo packs all around, and that's part of MvM. They just have ammo everywhere because Valve knew that you were going to be using up a lot of ammo. So that is pretty much my tips and tricks loadout, I guess you could call it. Just kind of my favorite loadout for demo for Wave 666 MvM. And I suppose that is pretty much it. I've beat Wave 666, I think, 3 or 4 times now in my total TF2 career. So that is very fun. And I think if I keep the gameplay as it is right now, you'll be seeing me charge back and forth with the charge and charge fully upgraded so that it regens like max speed. The regen speed is actually 4 seconds, and that is absolutely ridiculous. That means you have an increased speed to assist you other than the blast resistance as well. So that's really nice. And yeah, so that is the video, guys. Thank you all for watching. As always, if you guys could leave a rating on this video, that would be absolutely amazing. And as always, subscribe if you enjoy my content. And that's pretty much it. So thank you all for watching once again, and peace out.